David asked me about the week ahead, and the question was the wrong shape. It was Sunday morning that I was at the counter doing the pour-over, which I do slowly because I like the part where the water finds the grounds and nothing has happened yet. David came out of the bedroom in a grey sweatshirt and stood at the end of the counter and said, "Anything big coming up? Not what's your week look like? Not anything I should know, anything big." He set his coffee down before I answered. "And the cup made a sound on the wood, I noticed." I said no, just the Madison Park Review on Wednesday. He nodded and went to get the paper from the hallway that I stayed at the counter. I should say, I have been at this counter on Sunday mornings for 4 years with David in the next room, and I know the shape of the morning that I know when he asks a thing because he wants to know. And I know when he asks a thing because he is moving through. Anything big was the second one that I noticed it the way I have been noticing things since around February and putting them in a place where I do not have to look at them. I usually let it go. I usually pick up my cup and go to the sofa that I stayed at the counter for 10 more minutes. That was the small thing. We cook on Sundays that it's the week's anchor that he did the eggs and I did the toast and the tomatoes, and I watched him the way I would watch a building I was being asked to understand that I noticed 3 things. And I'm going to tell them to you in the order I noticed them, not the order they happened. He cracked the eggs into the pan and said your mom called yesterday, and then a beat later, she's good. He had not mentioned the call until now, then why mother had called me too. She had told me about the new neighbor with the dog and about how Moni eating more this week. She had not, I was almost certain, called David. He asked if I wanted the coffee topped up and I said yes, and when he poured into his own cup first and then mine. This is not a thing, people pour into their own cup first. I noticed it because last Sunday he had poured into mine first and made a small joke about it, and the Sunday before that, and the Sunday before that. And then, plating the eggs, he said we should think about whether we want to do the Whitby weekend in June or push it, and I said push it to when, and he said I don't know, later, not July, not after the Madison Review, later. Which is the word people use when they are not picturing the thing they are pushing. Each one alone is nothing that I want to be clear about that. The dog, the cup, the word later. That I have been an architect long enough to know that any single anomaly in a building is a story you can talk yourself out of. Point 3 anomalies are a load path. I sat down at the counter with him that he read the front section, that I read the art section. The light came in the south window the way it does on a clear March morning, gold along the floor. And the Wayla ceramic dish was at the edge of the counter where I keep it, white with a small chip on the rim. I have been talking myself out of the picture for months that I have been saying I am reading too much into things, which is what I have always said when I do not want to know what I know, that I think I am reading too much into it. What I mean is, he is on deadline, he is tired, he is, and the sentence finishes itself in whatever shape lets the morning continue. I did not finish the sentence this time. I let the picture be the picture. Here is what I had not let myself know. The marriage question is mine to answer first, that I have been treating it as a thing that we would arrive at together, and I have been waiting for him to be the one to say it because the waiting has felt like respect. And I think it has also been a way of not having to find out what my answer is, because if my answer is yes and his is not yet, then I am the one carrying something. And I do not like to be the one carrying something I have not been invited to carry. But the thing I noticed this morning is that I have already been carrying it. I have just been pretending I wasn't, and my answer is yes. I sat with that for a while. David turned the page. The kettle ticked as it cooled. I did not say anything to him, because what I had decided was not a thing to say to him yet. It was a thing to know. I picked up that Wayla's dish. I have kept it at the edge of the counter for 2 years, where it could be a small thing in the corner of a room. I moved it to the center, where I would see it from the chair. Then I took my cup to the sofa, where the light was, and I sat down.